Hi everyone, welcome to this tutorial. What we're going to do specifically is figure out how exactly to monitor a Node.js server application. Right, you have an application up and running and you need to know how it's performing, what's the memory usage, what's the CPU usage, which of your endpoints have a lot of failing requests, how many requests per second is your endpoints, is your server actually able to manage. So we're going to focus on building a Node.js application first, right? So let's go over to the terminal, and I'm just going to create a new folder. Let's call this node monitoring. Okay, and we're going to just code. So using VS Code, open node monitoring. Perfect. Okay, cool. So we need to turn this into a Node.js application. So to do that, we're just going to go here and say ls, so rm package JSON. Okay, cd into the project, npm init -y. Cool. Now I'm in here and you can see this is my package JSON. Okay, so they've already specified an index.js. Let's just go ahead. I believe we can actually just use the express generator. So if I do npm i-g express-generator. So we're using Express.js, which is a framework for building server-side applications on Node.js. So that Express generator is actually a CLI to help us get things done. So what I'm going to do is npm i express. Actually, we don't need that. I could just do express because now I have the generator CLI. So I'm just going to say express --help. Okay, express space --node-view --get space dot. Cool. So it's giving us an application, right? So strangely enough, they're using this node bin thing, which we don't need. In our app.js, that's not what we need. So we're not going to export anything. We're going to say app.listen. Just going to say on port 3000. Listening on ports 3000. Okay, cool. So we don't need this bin directory. That's from the old days. You can save this, get our package JSON. I'm going to just say node index.js. And just to make life easier, let's go ahead and install Node1. What Node1 does is that it allows us to actually run our server in a mode that's easy to restart. So anytime we make changes, we can restart our server. So as you can see, we have a dev dependency here. In Node1, we have Express in here. Okay, so now we have our application. So let's make a simple. We have already the user's router created for us. So let's just return some users. Okay, so there's an ID, one, name, let's say WeDeyCode, let's call it username, and then let's say email or websites. Here's just a URL, WeDeyCode.com. Okay, so let's do something similar. Let's start with 0. Let's just say username is Twitter. right? And then let's just say this is some Twitter handle. Then URL WeDeyCode 2. That's just something to differentiate it. And 2, 3. So this is actually nothing really, just doing things here and there to make it seem different. Okay, so this doesn't really matter. Okay, we're just trying to get a list of users. Well, we can just go and say Adewale, right? Username, say Farouk, right? Amina. Okay, and now all we need to do here, we don't need the next. What we're just going to say is res.status 200 send .json users. Okay, cool. So to test that this is up and running, let's just npm run dev. Right, so what that does is that it goes to our package.json, right? Looks for the dev script and then runs Node.js runs our application using Node 1. Okay, so it says cannot find module node monitor index.js. Okay, yes, because we don't have an index.js, we have an app.js. So I'm just going to restart that. Funny, if it crashes, node mod doesn't restart. Okay, error cannot find module express. Okay, so let's go to. Okay, so what we need to do is npm install once again, just to ensure that things are good. Npm run dev. Cool. So we have it running. Now what we're going to do is go over to Postman. Okay, so let's go here and let's now we're in Postman. What we want to do is to just call our server. Let's say localhost 3000. Okay, so we send a request. Cool. We got some response. Now just gonna add another request. Let's call that get users. How do I add a request to this thing? Yes. Okay, so we're going to say is localhost 3000/users. Okay, we're going to send that. Cool. So we go back the list of users. So how do we actually check how the application performs? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to install a library called Express Status Monitor. Okay, so Express Status Monitor. So okay, so Express Status Monitor is an open source library. It's one library you can use to actually measure the performance of your server application. So this is what we're going to do. npm install Express Status Monitor. Okay, so let's kill the server and then paste this. Okay, while it's installing, let's look for the next tip. So we're going to use this middleware, app.use require Express Status Monitor. Okay, so it says there are some vulnerabilities, interesting, from the official package. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Just going to go here. So that's something to always watch out for when you're using different applications. Right, what exactly are you buying into? Okay, so let's do this. We're going to cut this. We're going to put that here. We're going to say const not var const express status monitor equals require this. Okay, I'm gonna call that express status monitor. Okay, so the instruction now is to run the server and then go to the status endpoint. So you can see we never actually implemented any status, right? If I search for status, all that exists is just this import, right? There's no actual code that executes the status of the server, right? This here is just status of the response that we're returning. So we're going to run this application again. Oops. npm run dev. Now let's go add a new request. Okay, so let's go to localhost 3000/status. So let's see what we get. Okay, so let's visualize, preview. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to copy that and let's head over to the browser. Okay, so there you have it. Zero configuration so far, and this is this is the performance of my server. Right, so let's go ahead. Let's increase the time here, so you can see CPU usage, memory usage, right? How much is actually going on? Response time. So let's see how quick this behaves. So let's just send a bunch of these. Okay, and let's see how this is changed. Okay, cool. So you can see, interesting. There was a 400. So there's a yellow one. Where was that 400? Okay, so that's the 404 fave icon. Yes, we don't have a fave icon, and as you can see, the response time goes up and then reduces. Requests per second, that spiked up because of how I was hitting the server and the requests. So as you can see, this is very basic. This is just a very basic demonstration. So what other alternatives exist? Right, and also we could extend this to actually have much more, right? Much more configurations. So let's see how we can do that. Default config monitor. Okay, so passing into the constructor. Chart visibility. Okay, so health checks. You can add a series of health checks. Okay, so let's try this out. So let's go to the server. Let's see if we can add some health checks. Okay, paste that. Okay, so it appears this receives a config object. Okay, I see. This actually receives an object, and lucky us, we're using WeDeyCode, so we can just format documents, have everything cleaned up. Okay, so path is the first path is just the home page, and the next path is users. So let's see what that looks like. And luckily, as you can see, I don't need to restart my server. It restarts automatically because I'm using Node.js. So let's send a few requests. Let's send this a few times. Okay, and let's see what the individual health checks are. So once again, we go to localhost 3000 status, hit enter. Okay, let's see. Okay, this isn't working. I didn't get that working. Did I configure it properly? Where is the configuration? Okay, so I'm meant to add this config. So let's do this. We're just going to go to the repository, see if they have any examples. Okay, they have some examples. Let's look at index.js. Okay, this seems to be very different from what was advertised. Let's look at their tests. So that's something else you can do. You can always go check tests to see that it's actually to see what they've done. Okay, so my rating for this is that this is a bit, I mean, it's easy to set up, but then when it's time to configure, there seems to be a bit of difficulty actually understanding how to use this. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I think I'd rate this a solid 6 or 7. Now let's look at other alternatives. So there's PM2, which is an open source alternative. It's also free to use. So what we're going to do is install PM2. Right. Let's go here to our server. Let's go to the server. Install PM2 globally. So it's its own CLI, command line interface. Oh, interesting. All I have to do is just say PM2 start app. So I don't even have to do any configurations. Okay. Okay. So once you hit PM2 start app.js, this is what you see. So it's actually already, it started the server for me. So I actually don't have to configure anything. I don't know if they also use a /status endpoint. Okay, so that's express status still. Let's see, how do I check the logs, or how do I check the status? How do I go to the dashboard? Okay, so what they want me to do is PM2 ls. So what exactly happened is that a fork of the process was created, and app.js is actually running in the background. So my server is running in the background. That's why I can still make requests to it. You see, I didn't do npm run dev. It's running in the background. So let's do PM2 ls. Okay, so it just lists what we have, and it lists how long it's been up for. So you see it's been up for about 64 seconds. This is the CPU state usage. This is the status online. And you see, just very similar to what we had with the express status. It's 39, about 39. The memory usage is about the same, as you can see. So what exactly can we do with PM2? Display logs, PM2 monet. Okay, yes, this one we want to see something visual. PM2 plus. So we can log in with GitHub. Okay, so it's giving us for free a monitoring system. Okay, so we log in with GitHub. Okay, and we hit access. Wow. So from my local machine straight to the internet, PM2 is already monitoring for us. So let me go back here, access. So you can see a much, you see this is much cleaner. Right? It's much more advanced than the basic express status. And you see, I had to do very actually no configuration. Right? I just did pm2 start app.js. Then just to confirm that it was running, I did pm2 ls. I did pm2 plus, which then created, of course, I had to log in with GitHub, but this then created this UI for me for free on their own server. So this tells you exactly what's going on with my app. Number of restarts is none. Server latency is 5 milliseconds. So let's try this out. Where is my? Okay, there you are. So let's send a few of these bad boys and see what happens. Okay, so let's see. Let's refresh the page. I believe it should be live. Okay, the same way this is live. So this is express status, which runs locally. This is pm2, which runs in the cloud. So let's see apps overview. Okay, and that's the paid version. So we're just going to look at the real-time metrics. As you can see, this is how the application is performing. So active requests. Let's see. Okay. So let's look at the active. How quick am I to get there? Okay. So you can see this is the latency. That's how long it takes to actually handle my requests. And you see how it's being used on my server. Okay. So my app has no issues. Right, so you can see that's another, that's PM2. So what else do we have? So there's also from Ibm App Metrics. So this is the third way, App Metrics. Let's see how to get this started. So we need to do npm install App Metrics, and after that we need a properties folder. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's see. So we're going to just say pm2 stop app.js. Okay. So that's stopped, and that should actually terminate this process. Yes. And then we're just going to delete server because I don't want this. Let's have it. Okay, so we're going to say pm2 link delete. Okay, so we've disabled pm2, so now we can just delete the server. pm2 link delete, I think I just did that. Cool, so there it goes. So now we're going to test out the new library, App Metrics by IBM. Okay, so it's installing, and what we just need to do is just go through the documentation quickly. So we're going to have to start with this command, app require app metrics /start. So while that's going on, let's go to a package.json. Okay, we actually can't. I don't want to edit the package.json while this is still installing. So let's just wait for that. You can go make some coffee. I don't know if you drink coffee. I don't. Okay, cool. It's done. We go here, you can see app metrics. So what we're just going to do is add a new script, start to app metrics, and we're just going to put it here. Okay, so let's just edit that. Okay, so that's going to run node dash require app metrics starts app.js. So little configuration, and then all we have to do is if you locally install this module, npm, okay, so load app metrics together. Okay, cool. So all right, this is if we want to get anything, any extra thing. What is not telling me is how to actually, where to view the metrics. So let's just run it and let's see what happens. npm run start app metrics. Okay, so it's created something to monitor on this page at that port. Let's go there and check. Okay, nothing can be reached. That is listed on 3000. So let's send a few requests. And let's see. Okay. I don't see anything special here. Did I miss some instructions? Okay, so these are just extra configurations. What we actually want to know is, okay, so I think I'm meant to manually start it, but I thought that's what this, yeah, I thought that's what this is meant to do. So where exactly do I then view, the app metrics or something? Where is the visual parts? Okay, so for that, let's look for examples or tests. Okay, we have the properties file. So let's look at the tests. API tests. Actually, HTTP server tests. Okay, I don't really see much. Maybe I'm just not using it correctly. Okay, so this is actually kind of difficult to follow. So what did we look through today? We looked at Express Status Monitor, we looked at PM2, and we just looked at App Metrics from IBM. So within these three, I would say if you're looking for something quick that's already with that can easily integrate with your Express application, or in this case they also support Koa and Happy.js. So if you use any of those three, Express, Koa, or Happy.js, Express Status Monitor can work very seamlessly. As you can see, all that you really need to do is just npm install, require the module, and then go to your status endpoint. The downside of Express Status Monitor is that it's actually not, there isn't much you can get from this. Of course, you can extend the configurations, which we had issues doing. But it's not at the level, it's not as much as what you can get from PM2, right? But the benefits of using using Express Status Monitor is that it's completely, it doesn't require you to integrate with anything else. It runs just on your server and is completely isolated from the internet. However, if you use PM2, as we saw, it's actually very easy to get everything done. They're just two steps: npm install PM2, and then just PM2 start your application.js. What that does is that it starts your server and immediately starts monitoring it. And then if you want to view the UI, right, so you can see there are many things you can view here. If you want to view the UI, all you have to do is just say PM2 plus, and that would actually give you the UI of it. So then finally, before that, the only downside I see here with PM2 is that, of course, they're running some data on their hosted server, right? So your server is now connected to someone else's server, right? Which, if you're just doing something for fun or for development, it's not really an issue. However, if you are building for production, you may want to consider exactly what kind of data is leaving your server and going to PM2 server, and also you could potentially consider some of the advanced features they have, which includes enterprise functionality. Finally, we looked at App Metrics, which surprisingly wasn't really able to get running. Yeah. Finally, we looked at App Metrics, which actually seems to be the most okay. The data can be visualized by using this. Okay, so it comes with the dashboard. Okay, so it comes with the dashboard. So how do we install this dashboard? Okay, so I don't want to make a quick judgment. How do I install this dashboard? So package.json, the package name is appmetrics dash. Okay, so I'm just going to kill this. npm I. Okay, that's going to take some time. Oh, okay, it's already done. I was wrong. So now what we're going to do is require, before all of the require statements, add this, okay? Alternatively, to use preloading, just do this. Okay, so I think that might be easier. Okay, so let's do this. It's called okay, so we're just going to try this a few times and see how these work together. Okay, so we're just going to say that again: npm start, npm run. Okay, so the dashboard is what endpoint is on.
Okay, so documentation wise, okay, so there it is. App metrics dash. Okay. Okay, so it doesn't seem like it's happy with that. So we're going to run that again. Oh wow. I was almost very quick to judge. Oh wow. Look at that. Oh wow. Okay, so where's our where's this way to just oops. Not working. Interesting. Cannot set headers after. Okay. This is kind of difficult to use. Hmm. So it's interesting, the default. So it's not exactly clear what what other configurations I need. Right, so it said I could do this if, but I don't have many servers, I just have one. So alternatively, which is what I've just done, is this. Okay, so let's navigate the error message. Cannot set headers after they're sent to the clients. Okay, so generally when you see this error, what this is telling you is that you're trying to perform some operation after the express request lifecycle has already ended. So that's actually what's going on here. So it means after rest of render or after rest of status.json is completed, some operation is trying to go on. So let me remove this middleware and let's see what happens. So this is the express status middleware. I just want to confirm that there's no other middleware that is hijacking the process after, or that's trying to execute after the application, after Express has handled the requests. Okay, so I guess that was it. So generally, yeah. So again, this is why the fundamentals are good, right? So So how did I solve that issue? When you send a request, and usually this is a request um, on Node.js, right, on Express.js, what happens is that it goes through a series of middlewares, right? Right. So this is from your incoming request to the response. So it goes through a series of middlewares, right? These are essentially some handlers before the final, or some things that need to be done before the final response is handled. Right, so you can have a logging middleware. You can have so that's logging logging. You can have a middleware for authentication, middleware for body parsing for JSON, right? And of course, what we did initially was we had a middleware for the express status monitoring. So when the previous error message said cannot set headers after they are sent to clients, right, what's occurred to me is that that's likely a problem with some middleware. I know that the only custom middleware going on that I have is the express status monitor. So this means I can't use the app metrics with Express Status Monitor, because both of them must be competing for the same process. And what's going on is that when the request is ended, once the response has been sent, some other process is trying to execute. That's why we got that error. So in a nutshell, that's the comparison to Express Status Monitor, PM2, and App Metrics. We use the App Metrics dashboard. So thank you very much for watching. Please share this around. I hope you found this helpful. If you have questions, please ask in the comment section. Follow us on Twitter at WeDeyCode, on LinkedIn, WeDeyCode as well. That's WeDeyCode, or you can just visit WeDeyCode.com. You can sign up for all updates that will be sent by email, view our recent videos, or just go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel down here. Or you could also click this link. Okay, one more thing. We do have to push this to GitHub. So let's go to GitHub. Okay, so let's create a new repository. Say new. And what did we call it? Node-monitoring. Was the name of the project. So s-n package.json. Yes, node monitoring. Okay, I just hit Q. Examples of how to monitor Node.js applications. Okay, so it's public. And we're just gonna add a README. Choose a license. Creative Commons. Anyone can do whatever they want with this. Do I or oh no? Why? Node-monitoring. Examples of how to monitor Node.js server applications. Public. Okay. Do I already have a README here? Oh, sorry, git ignore. Okay, I do not have a git ignore. So let's do a git init space dot. Okay. Git status. Okay, so this is now a git repository. So we're going to have a git ignore, and it's for Node.js. Okay, we're going to license Creative Commons. Anyone can do what they want. Okay, so we're going to clone this. Oh, sorry, set the remote. Git remote add origin. Okay, git fetch. Just like a pope. Origin name. Okay, git branch. Okay. Okay, so there are two different branch names here. Okay, so git log. Okay, that's the initial commit. Let's git status. Shows us everything. Okay, and now we're going to just do simply. We don't need this DS store. So let's see. Don't need this. Nano. Because this is a Unix system, even though it's a MacBook. Dot git ignore. Okay, so let's just add somewhere at the bottom. Okay, this is actually lots. Okay, I can scroll. Alright, so then I'll just say Mac. Okay, Control X, hit Y, and hit enter. Okay. So if I say get status once more, the DS store is still there. Alright, I'm just gonna get rid of that because I don't need that. What is this? Does anybody actually know what this thing is? What's inside it? Okay. Okay, cool. So I'm going to say get add space dot. Okay. Then I have to see my logs. Okay, make sure I'm using the right user. Get config -- list config user dot name is WDC team as WeDeyCode. That is our username. WeDeyCode team. Okay, user.email. WeDeyCode@gmail.com. Okay, so I'm gonna commit. So I added feet because that's the semantic version. Semantic commits messages. Added code okay, so let's see if this works. Push origin main. Okay, so now if we refresh, there you have it. So just go to github.com/WeDeyCode, or you can just go to WeDeyCode.com, scroll down to where it says stay updated, and just hit GitHub. Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.